Hi, I'm Matt here in Michigan.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. This week, Matt and I are looking back 30 years to 1990 to do a review of Tremors. It stars Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, Finn Carter, Michael Gross, and Reba McEntire in her motion picture debut. I absolutely love this movie, so I'm pretty interested to know, Matt, what do you think about Tremors upon rewatching it?
Randall, I have one word for you, and it is fun. I have so much fun watching this movie. I'm just thinking about a different time. It's not like it's, you know, really serious or really, great like horror or the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, how are all these elements like working in this film with like the acting to what actually happens in the movie? And it's fun. That's what I kept thinking the whole time watching this movie. It is fun, and that's why I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So for those of our audience who may have not even ever watched Tremors or know much about it, it's kind of a cultural phenomenon. It's got like five sequels. The sequels are of varying quality, but it's all about this isolated town in the middle of nowhere in the desert, Nevada, Perfection, Nevada, and it's under attack by underground monsters. I mean, the concept of it is ridiculous. It's fun by itself. You're just like, what? Underground monsters? Is this a horror movie, like you said, or is it an action movie? Is it a comedy? It's got a whole bunch going on. It's got really good characters, really strong characterizations by the actors. They nail their roles, and like you said, it is just a pile of fun to watch as this town is attacked and people one by one start going missing or start dying, and the monsters pick them off as they come to the realization that it's underground goddamn monsters, as Michael Gross's character says, Burt Gummer says in the movie.
Yeah, to me, this kind of is like it's almost like a lighthearted take on Jaws, almost kind of like Jaws. It was that monster, under the surface kind of thing. That being like underwater until like the big reveal. Later on in the film where you actually see like the animatronic, Jaws shark kind of thing, and
Bruce.
Bruce, yeah, Bruce, man, Bruce, he had his times that saltwater did a number on Bruce a few times during shooting. But yeah, I mean, with like the explosions and everything, and they take that route here with like Tremors 2, where Tremors are, like you said, these are monsters underground as opposed to like underwater. But like you said, it's not like Jaws is more serious. This isn't serious like Jaws. It was kind of interesting too, like in the deaths, like the monster actually eating the victims in Jaws. I mean, those are like scary and stuff. In Tremors, I mean, I guess if you're a little kid, they can be like scary, like, oh my goodness, these monsters underground eating people. But for me, watch it now. I mean, you feel bad that people are dying, but at the same time, too, the deaths are kind of humorous a little bit too. It's not too over, serious taken on it. And one I would take about there's one part where a man and his wife they're out sitting out on their car, like this music and like their generator goes missing or whatever. And he's like, I swear it
Yep.
was right there. And
That's the doctor and
he's
his wife, yeah.
yeah, the doctor's wife, he's like pulling up the cord, out of the ground and stuff. And next thing the tremor, the monster, spits the generator out of the ground. It's just, it's a part where it takes kind of hues on the two like fishermen for Jaws, but where that one was a little bit more serious, where you kind of chuckle a little bit that they made it like, can we go home now? Where this one, it's like he actually dies or whatever, and it's a little bit humorous.
Yeah, well, I mean, and really the Graboid, that's the monster's name in this, the Tremors, but they end up the wife runs back, so they've taken her husband underneath the ground, and then she runs back to the LTD wagon, and she's stuck in the car, but she doesn't have the keys. So they just they take the whole car down trying to get to her, and it's just part of this unraveling mystery. So when Val and Earl show up, which is Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward's characters show up, they're just like, well, where are they? And they're like, they must be gone. The car's not here. And then they discover that the entire car has been sucked underground. So they race back to the perfection, and they're just like, what on earth would bury an entire car? You know, like what are we getting at here? And then you have Finn Carter's character. She's the you know she's really just a grad student out there for geography, geology, geology,
Seismologist.
seismologist. What do we know about seismic thingies? But and she's putting together all of this and collating all of this data, and she's like, oh, there's this many of them because there's readings over here and there's readings over here, and Val and Earl are just like, we believe you. Like you don't need to explain it any further. So this movie is just a lot of fun, and I really enjoy the way that it's introducing the characters. Most of the important stuff that happens in this movie happens in the first 15-20 minutes of the film. You get introduced to every single character. You get introduced to what this character is. Like Bert's a prepper. Val and Earl are handymen. Like you have the shopkeeper, you have the seismologist, you have the scientist character. All of that is done in like the first 20 minutes of the film. And it's awesome because from there on in you can just tell your story. You've gotten your characters out of the way, and they're all so well defined and they're all so well acted. You can just have fun telling your story. And speaking of telling that story, the Graboids, they're the star of the show. The special effects, the puppeteering for the Graboids has pretty much aged super well. Like I think that's one of the big advantages of doing a very good practical effect like in The Thing. It's aged pretty well in comparison to early CGI monsters.
The only part, like the one scene that kind of was like, all right, this is a little bit dated, is when Gross's character and Reba McEntire, they're in like their basement kind of thing, and the Graboid like bursts through like the wall, and there's like one scene where they're like shooting it, and you see from behind, and you can definitely tell that like the monster was like superimposed or whatever, like the two of them together. That was like the only thing, but it's kind of incredible because we should have other shots where you just see like the monster coming out of the wall or the monster coming out of the ground, and it looks great. Like you said, the puppeteering on the little, I don't know what you want to call them, the things in its mouth, the little tongues that like grab and like pull in its food or whatever, like all that looks pretty great and stuff. And yeah, like you said, I like how they introduced all the characters, even the minor characters. Like everyone has like a personality, and it's a small town kind of thing, but yet if you feel like just about like every single character in this because they all have that nice personality, and then it was done well.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and that fun scene that you're talking about, where Reba McEntire and Michael Gross's characters, and again, they're preppers. They live out here for a reason. It's isolation. And then they can do their own thing. They're big into guns, and that scene is so golden. I mean, I have to laugh almost every time I watch it. They have these guns and they're shooting the graboid. It's come through their basement wall, and then it just pans back, and there's just this wall full of other guns that they have. And then in order to kill it, Bert's got to break out the elephant gun, so he's got this like giant safari gun that finally takes the graboid down. That whole scene is golden, and you're right though. That is probably the only real spot where it shows the superimposition, the green screen doesn't come through so well, but the rest of it is just so well done. Again, I love this movie. I think this is such a well done film. It's not a huge blockbuster movie. In fact, it didn't even get a good cult following until it was on film. It was terrible in theaters. Kevin Bacon was like, "This movie's gonna ruin my career," and really, really, it hasn't. It's this phenomenon of a thing. It even had a short run TV series on Sci-Fi back in the day. It is like you said. It is so much fun to watch this. So much fun to watch the characters. I think a lot of modern movies could learn from this kind of movie, where it's like you don't have to be this big bombastic thing. Just tell your story and tell it well, and have good characters and have them well acted.
That's the thing too. I think it's kind of like that movie that a lot of other, I would say, like sci-fi movies where I try to like copy, like try to get that formula down. Like this one, I think works so well. I mean, I think a lot of times when I watched this movie, I haven't seen it in a while, was when it was on like TV, when they were showing some of the Tremor movies like on television and stuff. I mean, it's good for that. And I, like I said, I think a lot of movies, like since some of the smaller like made for TV movies, kind of like try to follow the formula that Tremors kind of put in place or whatever. But yeah, I don't know that you can beat the original. I mean, it's this is a good one. Like I said, go back to it. Fun. This is a fun film to watch.
Yeah, check it out. It's 30 years old this year, and honestly, it's aged like fine wine. I don't actually drink, so what do I know what fine wine tastes like? I'm going to assume it's good because it's a saying.
A place where the beer flows like wine.
Well, Randall and I want to know what you think about Tremors. Is it as good as we think it is? If you haven't checked it, definitely go check it out. We both highly recommend it. If you like this review, be sure to give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. We got more videos coming out. You can keep up to date with us on our social media page and on our YouTube page. For now, I'm Matt in Michigan. See ya!
And I'm Randall here in Texas. Everyone have a great day.
Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.